Good morning, everyone. Well, it's morning for me, but it may not be morning for you. Today I'm sharing with you a video where I'm taking part with the Scrappy Sisters Scrap September. The link will be in the description channel, and my prompt is doilies. So I've got a number of different doilies here. Some I've die cut myself, some I've got from the $2 shop, and I'm going to use all four of them in this project. One I've cut apart already. As you can see, I've already stitched around the outside of my page and used a little bit of tape because I'm lazy. Here are the photos I'm going to scrap, and I've pulled out the pinky apricot tones and a little bit of blue to go with my layout. Put out some words as well as some stickers that I've been given or had sitting around, and some washi tape, and basically that's all I'm going to use on this layout. For a start off, I'm going to use my favourite glue, my Bostik glue stick, to stick down the doilies one on top of another. And once I've got that done, I'll stick half of that little doily up in the left-hand corner just to add a cluster apart from the main cluster. I've positioned it a little bit off the page to cut the edge off because I always think that sort of somehow looks better. So that's what I like to do. Next, after I've basically got the background for my page done, I begin to build up layers. Now I've put out some papers already. Some are from magazines, some are tissue paper that was given to me as gift wrapped. Gift wrapped. Well, it was gift wrapped something anyway. And I'm building up the layers. They're not all the same, they're not all even, but to start with, I've put this little bit of blue right around the edge of both photos. And then basically I'm using my scraps up. So I've got about 3 or 4 layers, some the apricot, some that little plaid. Some of this paper was in a paper pad, the hearts I know that they're digital, and I'm not sure if they're from Felicity Jane or Tanya Lee, but anyway, they're digitals, they're bits of paper. Perhaps I'll pop Tanya Lee's link down the bottom anyway, because I am part of her team. I should find out where they're from. Duh. Anyway, they're bits I've had in the cupboard. So I'm just building them up, working out which layers go best. I'm not doing complete squares around all the edges, just, whatever bits I've got. I did want to make sure whether I should put the white cardstock behind the tissue or the tissue behind the cardstock. Once I've figured that out, off I go. Once I've got my layers up, I then attach the little half apricot doilies, one in the top left of the first photo and one in the bottom left of the bottom right of the second photo. It sort of, helps the two photos connect in a way on the big doily. This layout is about us going to New Zealand for my husband's brother's birthday. My husband's on the left, and his children and his daughter-in-law are all together because they're all brass players, and they were able to get together and play for Bill's funeral, which was a really lovely thing to do. So a sad occasion, but a happy occasion. Was a celebration of life anyway. Bill was a wonderful person. It was a nice way to see him off to participate in his funeral like that for the family. So once I've got those clusters done behind the two photos, I position them on the page, and then using my long arm stapler, which I could not live without, and I got it off Officeworks here in Australia, I staple them on quickly so that they don't move because I like where they are. Then I use a little bit of my Art Glitter glue, which is the best adhesive in the world, according to Lizzy, and just quickly run a little bit behind to hold the photos down. Don't need a lot of glue. The photos, let's face it, they're going in pockets anyway, so they're not moving anywhere. Look and listen to me sniffing. Once I've done that, I'm a bit of a washi girl. I like to use washi, and I like to use my Zig 2-way chisel glue stick to make sure that the washi doesn't move, because it has a terrible habit of lifting. So I don't think I've ever put washi on a layout or Happy Mail or anything these days without gluing it behind. Just a number of washis. I think there's 4 that I sort of tear and layer up here just to create a nice balance to that bottom doily, because it's quite heavy, so you sort of need something up the top. At this stage I had no idea where I was going to put my title or my journaling. I'm a bit of a journaler, so I knew that had to go somewhere. But, you just start going and somehow it all works out one way or another. or another. This Life's Moments, I didn't like the pattern around the edge, so I cut that off as much as I could, but I couldn't quite cut it all off the top. So to cover it up, I got out my Copic marker in black and with the chisel end and just went around that, so that there we are. There's Copic marker, 100 black, wonderful thing, can't live without it. And that sort of covered up that pattern that I didn't want showing. The other thing about this is that then it, you can tuck it in. You don't have to put the black right around the edges. And Best Moments I thought worked well. I wanted to put that other sticker that says hello, not handsome obviously. And I tried really hard so I cut it up carefully and I did the black outline again, but it just wouldn't fit on my page. So sometimes I think you've got to do that. What do people call it? You audition the parts, but if they don't go, they don't go. So I sort of forgot about it. I didn't use it. However, I did use the little blue tab end from it. Actually, I used both blue tab ends, little like bannery ends. So all was not lost. I find a lot of putting pages together is working out where things look best or where they fit best or fit most nicely. Is that English? I don't know. Anyway, out with the Tim Holtz stapler, stapled it on. Don't think that I stapled the word there that says so grateful. So just shoved a bit of glue behind there as well. Basically now we've got the layout how I want it, and it's just a matter of adding a few little tabs and bits and pieces. I wouldn't have normally used, I don't usually use banner ends a lot, but yeah, they worked well on this one. That frame came from my friend Yvonne Yam, but the frame of course is too small, so I just cut out the smile which I wanted because it was nice and glittery and the perfect lettering, and I knew it was going to sit really nicely at the bottom there in the dark corner. So yeah, that's if you've got frames and you don't want to use the frame, sometimes you can use the word from the frame as well. And that little sticker just says this week, so that worked well because we were over there for about a week for the funeral and to visit with family. The other fun thing I find is that sometimes you think you're going to use one thing. Like I was quite convinced I was going to use some journaling stickers, tags, but in the end I ended up writing my journaling. So you just never know what's going to happen when you start a layout. So there I go, trying to find a few more little tabby things. Since I've got a couple bannery, stickery things, I figured I might as well go the whole hog and add a few more. And that they seem to work all right on this page. Who knew? Another one there, tried to put it up the top, but I'd stuck that doily down too hard, which was a shame, but it fitted down the left hand. I don't think I put it there. No, the left hand side of the photo. Stickers are the same as washi. I just don't trust stickers. The sticker on the sticker back, so I always add a little bit of glue for that as well. This has basically got a room for the month, day, year. Not that I used it like that. I just used it for the month and the year because I couldn't quite remember what day and I'm too lazy to go and look it up. But it was February this year, 2009. To make the sticker a little bit more substantial, to make it sort of not lose itself in the layout, to make it a bit more firmer, I've added a bit of white cardstock to the behind of it, and also it makes it easier to write on and you don't see the layers through, so I think that sort of works quite well. And I did that with another sheet as well, I think. Well, another sticker, the hay sticker, there we go. So I did exactly the same thing, stuck it on a bit of white cardstock, cut it out and then attached it to my page. When I did my journaling, I just freelance, free think my journaling. So I had to come back a bit later and add a couple of words which I missed out on. But that's okay. They squished in. That little word says hey because, hey, we're all together, and that's pretty rare these days. Not that it's that far from New Zealand to Australia, but all the same, it is a flight away. I found some little heart stickers on that cocoa vanilla sheet, so there were 3, and you know the old adage, is it, that you should cluster in 3s. So basically I have got, 3-ish. Top cluster, left cluster, right cluster. Actually, I think I've got 4. Never mind. Rules were meant to be broken as well as followed. So if you can't do one thing, do the other. Here we go with my speedy handwriting due to the magic of video deleting and clipping, because this was an awful long video before I cut it off. And of course you need to write, but you also need to underline the writing. So back I went through and underlined the writing as well. I used a 0.5 pen for the writing and a 0.1 for the 0.1 and 0.0, 0.01 and 0.05. I'll get there in the end, pens for the writing and the underlining. I was really pleased with the way the journaling worked out. Didn't plan that at all, but anyway, you've got a doily. You might as well use the shape of the doily in your page, I reckon. Some Felicity Jane Alphas, and I think my title ended up reading The Magic of Music, because this is what it was about, playing together. And then, of course, some of those enamel dots and shapes all over the place. I'm not fussed where I put them. They just get plonk, plonk, plonked down. And pretty much that's my layout done. So thanks for looking, and don't forget to go see all the other girls, and I'll put all the links for how to get there in the description box. Okay, thanks for looking, and enjoy Scrappy September, and I hope you can join in, because that would be really good. There's lots of prompts. There's a video every day that should keep you occupied for quite a while. And don't forget to go visit the Scrappy Sisters, who are sponsoring and organising and doing all the hard work behind the scenes for these videos. Cheers now. Bye.